Hey guys, it's Keegan. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video, I thought we would just do a more casual, fun, like sit down video. I'm in my sorority house right now filming this. I don't know how I'm planning on doing this background setup, but as for now, this is just what I have. We'll see how it goes. I thought that I would do a video talking to you guys about what school supplies you need in college. When I first went to college, I had no idea what school supplies I needed. I also been getting a ton of DMs from you guys asking me like what you should bring, what you should not bring. And I kind of came up with some things I think you guys should have before college even starts. When you get your syllabus and when you go to your first class, they'll tell you like you're going to need a binder, you're going to need this, you're going to need this. But before then, you kind of want to be prepared. You want to have a little bit on hand so you don't have to buy everything at once. It's always nice to be prepared. If they say something, you need to write it down. I came up with some things. These are actually things that I bought for myself for college. Follow me on Instagram if you're not already. I'm really trying to keep up my game. Just take a sip. I got this today. First school supply thing that you need, I think is pretty obvious, but it's a laptop. So I have the MacBook Pro. It's really dirty. I have the bigger one, like not trying to like flex or anything like that. Like this is no flex. I have the biggest MacBook and I don't recommend getting the biggest one. I honestly recommend getting the smallest one or like the middle-sized one. Biggest one, you have to carry it around and it's really heavy. And then when you have a lecture, the little desks that you get in lectures are like this big, wait, like that big. There's all this room hanging off and my laptop always almost falls. Obviously laptop is super important. I'd recommend a laptop over a desktop computer. You take it to class, you do your homework on it, you have ebooks, you have online assignments. A lot of stuff in college is online. So I recommend investing in a good computer if you don't have one and you can afford to get a new one. I would definitely recommend it. If you are some kind of computer major or something along with those lines, I don't recommend a MacBook. I took a computer programming class and a lot of the programs you can't use on Mac software. So I had to use like an HP, like a friend's computer, like the school's computers. Kind of depending on your major, I personally really like MacBooks because I edit on them and I think they're easier to use. Get what you can afford and get what you think you'll use. One thing though, I don't really recommend the iPads as laptops, you know, like the iPads with the keyboard. If that's what you want to do, you can totally do that. I just found there's a lot of things that only worked on computers and that didn't work on mobile devices because an iPad is still technically like a mobile device. If you're trying to decide between like, do I get a laptop or do I get an iPad? I'd recommend a laptop even though it's more expensive. I think it'll be more useful. Depending on your professor, you can either write notes on your laptop or in a notebook. If you do them on a laptop, I recommend Google Docs because they're always automatically saving. You don't lose anything, but I personally like notebooks. These ones are my favorite. I have two right here. My personal favorite is the 5-subject notebooks. Classes are only one semester in college, so you're only using a notebook for a semester, and I've had notebooks that I've used like 5 pages and that's pretty much it. 5-subject rule notebooks are my personal favorite, but it's always like personal opinion, and I couldn't find a 5-subject notebook. So I got these ones. These are from 5-Star. They're my personal favorite because they have the pockets inside. Oh, they have the pockets inside. As you can see, like you can put papers in here. I didn't really get a ton of handouts in college, but if I did, it was nice to have everything in one place since you're taking a lot of classes and they're not all in the same day. Sometimes they can get confusing and you don't really get a lot of handouts, so you don't need to go out of your way and buy a folder. So these are my personal favorites. I like handwriting notes. You remember things more when you write them down by hand, and I'm horrible at typing. Spell words wrong all the time when I type. I like can write them correctly, but typing I can't. And then autocorrect doesn't even know what I'm trying to say, and sometimes autocorrects it to like something weird, and then I'm like, what was I trying to say? That was my rant. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Pens and pencils are also really important. I really like pens for writing notes just because they're more colorful. They grab my attention and I like to color code certain things. So these ones are my favorite. I really like ballpoint pens, but it's like totally up to you. You also do want pencils, number 2 pencils, taking tests, Scantrons, things like that. You don't always want to use pens. Even if you do write on your laptop, I always recommend having like even like a little notebook and a pen or a pencil with you, just in case you need to jot something down, or if your laptop dies, things like that happen all the time. My baby, I love having a planner. I showed you guys this in my haul. A lot of the school supplies I showed in the haul, but I'm kind of like giving you the reasoning and like why I bought it. Planners are super important. You get a lot of homework, you have a lot of things to do, you have a lot going on in college, so having a planner keeps you super organized. I personally like the big ones that are like notebook size because I got a lot going on, and the small ones are just not enough lines for me. This helps me stay on track and make sure that I don't forget anything, which is really great. Something I recommend that I actually don't have with me is a binder. I recommend getting a 1-inch binder. Some classes like actually make you have a binder for the class, put all your stuff in it. I personally use binders for unbinded textbooks. So a lot of times textbooks come not binded, so they're not put together. It's like a bunch of loose paper. So I put them in my binder to keep them all together. It's happened to me twice now, so I think that's super valuable. Another thing for textbook, I really like sticky notes. I like these little ones, these tabs right here, to put on my textbooks, just keep my place, things like that. When I take tests, I like to tab out like the chapter. And then I also really like having sticky notes to remind me. I'll like write a sticky note and put it in my planner or put it on my desk when I get ready. I'm always on track, and if I forget something, I can just jot it down, having a sticky note at my desk and in my backpack. A calculator is also super important. This is the TI-84 Plus CE. You don't need to get one this bougie. I do think a graphing calculator is super helpful. When you go into like your calculus or math class, they'll tell you like which calculators that you can and cannot use. Calculator is super important. In high school, they always provided calculators for us, but in college, they do not. So when you're taking a test, you really want to have your own calculator. When you're doing your homework, a lot of stuff you have to use certain buttons, like the math button, the statistics button, logarithms, graphing, all that stuff that you can't use on your phone, and especially like you can't use your phone on tests. So I just recommend investing in a good calculator, but I would wait until your class starts to figure out which one you need so you don't spend too much money. Another thing I recommend having is a to-do list. So you don't need to get this one. It's the one that I personally like. This is from Knock Knock Pad. It's a weekly to-do list, so it just has every single day. I like planning out my week. As you guys saw, I planned out today, but I need to plan out the rest of the days. On Monday or even Sunday night, I just like to plan out everything that I have to do those days. Helps me stay on track, helps me know what I need to do, what I have done, what I haven't done. I don't think this one's perfect. Okay, idea. If I were to ever like make merch or come out with like some kind of product line, I would love to make like to-do lists or planners or like dorm decor lines, something like that. You know, manifesting it. Maybe it'll happen one day. I would love to perfect this. It's so good, but there are little things about this that really bother me. I do think to-do lists are super important. You can literally buy a notebook and then like create your own boxes and make a to-do list if you want to. I really like having it written down on paper instead of in my notes or like in my phone. In my phone, it just feels super complicated. Having it on paper is the best. I also recommend having headphones. So these are AirPod Flex. Sorry, can't hear you over all my money. No, kidding. You don't need AirPods. You can literally buy like $1 headphones from like the dollar store if you want to. Headphones are super important. You watch a lot of videos in college classes. So like if you want to study at the library, you'll need headphones to watch those videos. If you want to listen to music walking to class, if you have a roommate, you want to be respectful, I think headphones are a really great college essential. I always keep them in my dorm, and then I will bring them in my backpack when I go to class. This one is also not school supplies, but it's a jacket. Like I'm freezing right now. Like I want to wear it. I should probably be wearing it right now, but I'm just not. Lecture halls in classrooms in college are pretty freezing. Towards the beginning and end of school, when it's really hot, they make the classrooms freezing. So if you're like me and you wear like a tank top walking to and from class because you don't want to have a heat stroke, you get in there and then it's like Antarctica and you freeze and get frostbite. Having like a jacket, some people even bring blankets to class, really nice, especially when it's super cold. That's all the school supplies that I think that you guys should bring to college. If you guys have anything that I forgot, or if some of these things you disagree with, feel free to leave comments down below. Just my personal opinion and advice. Everyone is different. I love to hear from you guys. Hopefully this helped. Follow me on Instagram if you guys are not already. I love you so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.